Hello there, everyone. Okay, so yesterday I covered an Arisham deck just for the fact that I have not played Arisham or Loki in a very long time. Today I want to go back to another archetype that I feel like has been forgotten, but maybe with good reason. Shall we find out together? That archetype is Move Bounce. Now, that really did fade around the time that Human Torch had a nerf from 3-3 to 3-2. And a few of the other supporting packages kind of moved around as well. But arguably, the shell has still got some strength. It's just about finding ways to utilize it. I mean, for instance, Human Torch at 3-2, maybe not as good as he was at 3-3. I mean, it's now a 3-4 first move instead of 3-6. But when you think we could maybe discount it with Mother Oscani, well, discount it as in go 2-3. So there's still a bit of potential there. Let's go through all the cards though, and let's show you what I'm thinking about and why they're included in this deck. So first of all, Aranya. I feel like Aranya is one of these cards that is just great for saying, right, I'm going to put a card on the board, and it's just going to do a job for me when I call upon it. So Aranya at a 1-2 is an activate. After you play your next card, give it +1 power and move it to the right. With what we've just said about Human Torch, that is brilliant because we can take him up to effectively 3-3, but when you think it'll move... no, actually, it will gain the +1 power, so it'll become a 3-3 and move so it's a 3-6. So it kind of brings Human Torch back to the par he was at, well, the point he was at. Then we brought in Nika Minoru, a 1-2 with the ability of creating spells on reveal. The spells that we will be looking at in particular will be the move card for natural ability of we like the move ability, but also the addition of power. Being able to give a card +2 power is very desirable. Also, I will not be against adding a copy of a card to hand. Sometimes that'll be bounce cards, other times it will be just if we've got a high static card and we want 2 of them in hand for a turn. So Nico's definitely got a lot of spells that could be useful, definitely worth inclusion in a deck like this. Then we've got Ghost Spider. I feel like Ghost Spider can fit into decks that are not just move decks nowadays, just in terms of having a surprise play for turn 6. I mean, just take, for instance, a very bad example, arguably, but take Red Skull. 514 stat line, maybe you position it wrong, just go, right, I'm going yoink that, move it to a different location, might catch people off guard. But yeah, as I've just stated, a 1-3 stat line with the on reveal, the last card you played moves here, just brilliant for repositioning things. Then more the opposite with Iron Fist, a 1-3 stat line, on reveal, after you play your next card, move it 1 location to the left. So usually in these decks we play Iron Fist, Mover, then Ghost Spider, so we get 3 triggers of a move. So Iron Fist is usually the first in the chain. Then we've got Madam Web, a 2-1 stat line, ongoing effect. You can move 1 of your other cards away from here each turn. Now, again, I do like this. I feel like Madam Web has been sort of the victim of the move shell being pushed down the meta a bit, because her card was expected to be broken when she first came out, but I'd say she's just been okay, in terms of, obviously when the move bounce was doing brilliant, she was doing brilliant, but she doesn't tend to slot into many other move decks, so it's nice that she has a kind of home in a shell like this. Hopefully it could get a little bit of a boost in play rate. We got Dagger, 2-2 stat line. When this moves to a location, +2 power for each enemy card there. So, yep, just a great ability. We've got Sparky, a 2-2 activate. Give your card that last move +2 power and move it back to its previous location. So Sparky is usually good on, I wouldn't say the final turn, but maybe when you just want to make sure you're getting that 1 move in that you need, you can just reposition again with Sparky. Then we got Toxin, the first of the bounce cards. 2-2 stat line. On reveal, return your other cards here to your hand, +2 power for each returned. So we're not prioritising the power gain as much with Toxin, even though it is good. The main thing is we've got a few cards on the board, we need them back, Toxin can do a job. Next card in the list is Falcon. 2-3 stat line, on reveal, return your 1-cost cards to your hand. We've got 4 1-costs in our deck, so Falcon in theory has got a lot of targets to choose. Then we're bringing in the Human Torch. As mentioned, 3-2 stat line. When this moves, double its power. So we've got Human Torch as the main win line, we've got Dagger as the secondary win line. The point being we need one of those two cards on board to move. If we don't, things could get a little bit messy. Then we've got Beast, another bounce card, well, arguably the bounce card. A 3/5 stat line, on reveal, return your other cards here to your hand. They cost 1 less next turn. Ideal turn 5 play. And then finally we've got Mother Ascani. This was kind of why I chose to try this deck, because I thought Ascani's being played in a lot of shells at the moment. I mean, I've seen her in discard decks, and understandably so, she's got a very good ability. 4/4 stat line, on reveal, give the leftmost card in your hand +2 power and -1 cost, then copy it. So just assume that you've built up a nice bounced card like, say, a 2/12 Dagger. I'm making a number up there. If you play Ascani on that Dagger, granted it would have to be played to the left of the deck, but let's just assume, then you'd be getting a 1/13, well, 2 1/13 Daggers, which you could move. So in theory, there's something very good about Ascani and the shell. Putting it into practice could be the challenge. So as you might have noticed when I was editing this, I did cut during the talk about Human Torch, because it did dawn on me that I've only put 2 movers in this deck. Human Torch and Dagger. Now, I could have gone for Spider-Punk, and I could have gone for Vulture. Now, with Vulture, I thought it would be hypocritical, because I did say recently that I felt that that Vulture was probably in a very why tier. Like, why is he still 1/3? Like, he needs something else to be more relevant. So I couldn't justify including him. With Spider-Punk, whilst he does negatively afflict enemy cards, it didn't feel like enough of a justification to put him in the deck. Well, he negatively affects and he also grows in power, but you get my point. He's not like a massive scaler. So I thought we'll stick with the 2, and just supposing we don't pull Human Torch and Dagger, it's either going to be an easy retreat, or maybe something else will be happening that could create a good play line. Maybe we've got a multiplicative Nico Minoru. You know, she's gained multiples of power. So I'm stretching a bit there. Maybe if we play a couple of games and it turns out we're not pulling cards that we need, maybe we could sub something out for probably Spider-Punk. But we'll see how it goes. We'll play 10 games. We'll see how we get on. Okay, first game up against Nia. We've got Madam Web for turn 2. Human Torch is ready for turn 3. Weapon H discarded by Blade. Alright. I would suggest that, to me, suggests it's a real player. Wakandan Embassy is very nice. Let's get in there nice and early. So I'm weighing up my turn 4 already, because we're going to play Human Torch into Madam Web. My turn 4, I'm thinking, is Sparky and Dagger. Although, Ghost Spider said hello. Corvus is not particularly great in terms of they've got the ramp ability. Mother Ascani, I don't particularly want to play now. Yeah, I think we do this. Also, I think I ordered that wrong. I probably should have gone for Dagger second. We're going to Sparky now. We're going to Beast. And we're going to Toxin. Not entirely sure about all that. I feel like I've reduced costs effectively there. If there's a Gambit in this deck, I feel like I might have just got around that a touch. Let's do that and that. That'll challenge the weapon H. And then one... Ooh, okay, that's a little bit messy. Let's reorder. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5 won't really do much, but let's just do it. That should be enough to win mid, and I'm certain Human Torch will win right. Yeah, solid win that. Alright, 4 cubes. We get Miss Marveled. I'll just give him a little bit of a storm reply. So yeah, not a bad win. Let's get into the next one. Okay, our opponent is Mr. Anisakis. I think that's Sakis. Anyway, we haven't got 1 cost, so yeah. Let's skip a turn. Echo, that is interesting. Okay, we'll play Sparky, I guess. Because I'm not playing Madam Web, though. And we're not tempoing out Falcon. Not a great opening set of conditions, shall we say. Sparky's still on tempo, so it's not terrible. Wolverine and Echo. Right, that's not a deck I've ever heard of. Let's play Human Torch. I'm trying to think what they're cooking. Galactus. Alright, let's just bring that back over here and bounce it back to hand. They haven't ramped, so they can't play Galactus early. To be fair, Galactus is the portrait. I give them that, you know. I mean, this isn't a bot, is it? I mean, let's do 1, 2. 3, 4, 5. This just screams Galactus, but I'm thinking, what a weird deck. Like, why would you want an Echo in a Galactus deck? I mean, arguably, my biggest issue right now is I haven't got a way of moving that Human Torch. Alright.
Power must be controlled.
Alright, looks like I missed something. I did see the Shang-Chi come down before I had to walk out the room to answer the door. Was anything else played? No, just the Shang-Chi. Oh, and the Toxin that they nicked off me. So yeah, that's a little bit irritating. Okay, turn 1 we've got Iron Fist. We're probably not going to play that. Just simply because we haven't... Okay. We have got a dagger target now, so I feel a little bit silly for not doing it, but it's not the worst thing. Let's do Iron Fist mid, and then we can actually move the dagger either mid or left. They might want to play... Actually, saying that, they've destroyed the Valentina, so we go and play it left. I want to play Mother Ascani to copy the Human Torch. So, let's do that. Okay, Gambit Horseman of Death. Don't really relish that. Well, Ascani, so we get 2 Human Torches. Oh, okay, they're Ascaniing themselves. Okay. We're going to Beast, because we need a mover. And then we're going to Madam Web there. Okay, Victoria Hand, Scarlet Witch. It opens up a little bit for me, oh, not entirely. Very mixed board space. Alright, so we can do that with the dagger. I really need a Ghost Spider as that pull. Yeah, this is a little bit finicky. Let's just go for an extra card there, I guess. Not entirely sure what I'm doing here. Yeah, not enough power left. Yeah, I can't be too down about that one. It was not really a favourable matchup for me, but I think what I could argue is that I should have Iron Fisted turn 1. I didn't trust that they would play a card, and well, you just don't know turn 1, so it feels like a bad tempo play, but with hindsight, yeah, it would have been a good play. Schmosby. Someone's been watching How I Met Your Mother. I'm assuming that's a low. Got a load of them. Let's Aranya. I don't see the point in playing Dagger right now, because again, we haven't got a card on the board, so... Let's just play Nico for now. Okay, they discard a Swarm. Okay, that is very good for us. We want that. We're going to Aranya, move the Human Torch right. We can do a little chain of moves, so we can go Iron Fist into Dagger into Iron Fist. Trouble is that doesn't really help us next turn, so I'm thinking we could do... Let's move it there. I feel like I need to be able to bounce it next turn. I'm not sure how much I trust that I'm losing message. Okay, so Madam Web's a dead draw. We're going to just do Beast. Sadly, it will put Aranya back in her hand, which doesn't do much, but it gives us cards for the final play. Bullseye, Collector. Yeah, I can't say I like them having priority here as well, just as another little component. So unfortunately, I can only move one card once. So that's going to be Dagger over here. We can Aranya and Toxin. And then just Sparky there. I mean, I did position the Dagger right, at least. Yeah, Gambit destroys... Don't really know why it destroyed, if I'm going to be honest, but they've got one Muramasa in hand. Yeah, chances are they take over there, yeah. That was the trouble in gaining priority. Yeah, go on, you get a fist bump. I mean, going into turn 6, I thought we were struggling here just for the fact that, one, we didn't really have a good way of moving that dagger. Human Touch was locked in. Ideally, I would have had Madam Web on the board so that we could have moved the torch. But the biggest kicker really was that we had priority. You know, they were going to do all those things with Bullseyes, with the Gambit, with Dakin, and I just had no way of stopping it. I had to just let it happen. So that really was a big bummer. Jelly Bingus. You know, some names I'm just like, yep, okay, that's a thing. All right, so Madam Web, we can do 2 Madam Web, 3 Human Torch. Falcon's kind of dead at this point because we haven't got 1 cost. All right, Aranya turns up into the chat just as I say that. All right, they're playing 34 card Monty, is it? 35 card Monty? So their Irishman just kicked in. Ooh, okay. Asteroid M's a bit clunky. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do this. That is weak sauce. That was quite literally, I didn't want... Yeah. I knew there was a destroyer coming and I thought, I don't want to destroy the Human Torch. Where's my... Actually, let's just go for the Fenris there. We'll move that over there for the time being, and let's just do that and that. Because I don't know if Torch goes back right after we move it mid. That's what was bugging me last turn. My assumption is it does go back right. There we go, so it's up to 8 power. So, okay.
Victory.
I think we got lucky there. It was an Irishman player who probably didn't have a good hand based on the fact they've just played Doc and retreated. So I'm going to take that. We got a good advantage in the mid. Human Touch was building, but I think the Ascani line was not looking clean. Mutiko. We've got Nico Aranya. This is the starting hand we like to see. Sadly, I would have liked that later on, because right now I just want to Aranya. If we got a mover like Dagger, I'd be like, oh, okay. Okay, we can add a card to hand. Again, I don't particularly want to do that right now, so for now we'll just Sparky. Ooh. So we move Human Touch to the right, then move it back. Oh, you swine. Okay, so it's going to move to the right. I was going to say it should have power. Okay, Polaris in the mid. Okay, that's a waste for them because I'm assuming that A-bomb was discounted. We'll move that there. And we're going to bounce it. Yeah, I'm locking in that lane. I'm not entirely sure how I can win this. That is one possibility. Just Toxin the right. Maybe they think they've got enough there to win. They'll probably want to play something mid. Because at least I can get rid of that negative power, right? Oh, it isn't enough in the mid. Ah, it wasn't too far off. I'm actually not too bummed about that. That you look at that and you think, okay, it kind of sucks that we lost the left as bad as we did, but we were one power off mid and one power off right. You know, it's like, ooh, just a little bit more needed. I think the issue I've been having so far with Mother Ascani is I'm trying to target certain cards with her rather than just playing her. So I think I just need to be a touch more aggressive, you know, not being hyper-specific about what I'm trying to hit. They've also got Kind of Conqueror here. Aranya's a decent turn one. Onslaught Citadel we're not able to do anything with. We'll just Madam Web for now. Feels a bit silly playing it mid, but why not? Okay, Lasher is not welcome. Oh, you had to get one of my movers. Yeah, 3 bouncers, no mover, so I need skip. I actually don't know what I'm going to do here because I need to pull Torch. And if I can't pull Torch, I might as well retreat. Yeah, I think I just retreat. That was a nasty Sokovia.
Escaped.
Okay, I like that. We're going to play Nico turn 1. Just get it on the board. We skip turn 2 as it stands, and then play Torch turn 3. Yeah, I like that. Okay, skip turn 2. Oh, don't do it. Okay, that's fine. I was honestly expecting another another one of them. Alright. What did I actually lose? Just double check it. It was Beast. Okay, Beast going isn't ideal because we lose the discount, but we can still Toxin, we can still Falcon, the Nico. It's fine. Ideally, Makari would go mid so that we could then Toxin the mid. There we go. I do completely understand why they nerfed Torch from a, let me get it right, from a 3-3 to a 3-2. But it has to be said, he does feel a little bit noticeably weaker. You know, it's like, after one move, he's only a 3-4. It's like, you really do need chaining. Which is kind of why I wanted to do this anyway. You know, I wanted to just see if there was some viability to him still. Okay, so we've got 2-1-4 Toxins, but we're up against Surfer, which isn't fun. We're going to Falcon, Toxin. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, so we're not going to draw. Although, saying that, Makari will go back to hand, so we will draw. They keep priority. Sorry, I keep priority, they don't. We don't really want Nico destroying. But we can still move, which is good. 1, 2. You know what? 1, 2, 3. And let's just hope. Nowhere near, surely. Nowhere near. Hey, man, oh man. I mean, again, I think this just shows that Torch really got hit bad. You know, I couldn't really move him too much then. I mean, I did... What was my final draw? Was it... I think my final draw might have been Dagger, mightn't it? So, essentially there, I needed the Ghost Spider. I needed to be able to Torch... Iron Fist, Torch, Ghost Spider, and even then potentially just finish with Nico, just for a bit of extra power. But even that would have been tough, because I'd have gone up to 8-16, and I mean, that's 10 as it is, so yeah. Very rough. If anyone's wondering, by the way, why I tried to put Mother Ascani in the bounce shell rather than just a normal move shell, I couldn't help but like that idea that if you could build up a Dagger or a Torch, or just essentially build up a card, put it back in your hand and then copy it, would be nice. But I suppose the issue here is Frigga. You know, Frigga does pretty much what I've just described with less steps. So yeah, the trap I've probably fallen into with this deck build, just trying to do something that was already available. Alright, Ghost Spider isn't what I wanted there. They're getting a demon in hand, including the adding to the 3 in the deck. Let's do that. Okay, so Warlock's going to help them draw cards, make sure the demons aren't diluting. I would like to move that there and to go like that. I still need to be able to pull Torch, which is a little issue. Could do with, yeah, I could do with the bouncer. I've got energy, which is good. Yeah, I think we just settle for this for now. Okay, that's a bummer. So we won't be able to scale up Torch. But we can at least draw. Maybe we can get the Dagger. We got Scarny and Beast. Yeah, that's weird. It doesn't show it's disabled, but we saw it. We saw it get hit by a deafening chord. Surely that's a visual bug. I mean, I'll try and move it just on the off chance, but surely not. I'm just trying to think what my lowest cost card is. It's Ghost Spider, isn't it? So we can do 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just go 4. You know what? That doesn't make any sense. Bear with me. I know I'm running out of time here. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Shall allow. Once in future takes away the hood. Grapple arrow, basic arrow. Okay. Yeah, it's not doubling. So that is just a text error for some reason. I mean, again, I can accept the loss here, but it does suck a bit just in the sense that we just really didn't have a way to power up when that torch got hit. We needed the Dagger as the backup plan. So with this being the last game, I'm not changing cards. I might as well stick with the deck I've been playing. But I feel like if anything can be said about what we've done, it's the fact that we needed a plan C. You know, Dagger, Human Torch from the outset, I thought having 2 could be an issue. And it did prove to be so. So, and I know being aware of a fault is not anywhere as good as actually dealing with a fault. But at least we foresaw the problem. You know, it means if you guys wanted to try this, you could put in, say, the spider punk we mentioned. I mean, you could go Vulture, you could go multiple man or something, but honestly, I don't think they're much better options. Alright, we'll skip a turn. As much as I do enjoy a challenge of playing around the rocks, I think let's not try it now. We'll move that there. And move it back out. Trouble with Mother Ascani as well is right now she would hit Madam Web, but by then Madam Web's absolutely useless. So yeah, Ascani as well may just be a cuttable card. Let's play these. I know I definitely need that. Do we play this? Yeah, we got to, because there's nothing on the board worth moving now, so I might as well play Sparky just to give us an option to move on the final turn. Okay, so they got one cost hand and 3 cost. No, sorry, 1 cost Tuscany. One mover. I'm very aware that Dagger will benefit from being moved, so we've got to go 1, 2. Actually, no, let's do 1. 1, 2. Activate Sparky, play Torch mid. I'm not sure that's enough. Like, I highly suspect it isn't, but we try. Okay, we win left. It's just I don't think 8's enough there. Yeah, again, just not enough power. So yeah, I'm just trying to make sure I've not missed anything. I'm pretty sure I only got 1 move on Torch. And it's where this feels like the problem lies. If you can't get the moves chained, Torch won't build up power. You know, we went from 3-2, 3-4, 3-8, so that was 3 moves we managed to trigger. You know, and it's like Dagger with 2 moves, was it? Yeah, 2 moves gets up to 18. So arguably Torch just needs to be cut from a deck like this. Which is really sad because his ability is great, but you absolutely need to give him a way of scaling. Like, I didn't include Agony in the deck. Maybe Agony would be a way of at least giving that initial jump, but it's a crying shame that Torch is at that point now where he needs something to scale. I mean, maybe you could do Symbiote Spider-Man, but again, you're then reliant on putting him in a lane and allowing that to happen. So, yeah, it feels like Torch really has been hit of late. And I feel sad because the card itself is like Deadpool in the sense it's a very simple card to build power with, but they've nerfed it to a point where the actual scaling is now very difficult to start up. So yeah, safe to say this is not a win rate I'm proud of. 2 wins, 8 losses. When I'm looking at the deck construction, I'm thinking, okay, Falcon probably could be cut. I think we have maybe 1 real good use of him. Sadly, though, the other one that I feel like could be cut is Mother Ascani, just for the fact that it didn't feel like she was good at copying anything. You know, maybe I was underusing it at times, but at full cost, she feels very expensive for the effect we're getting from her. Yeah, so Spider-Punk could do a job. Maybe Vulture if you cope in a touch. It's very hard to say. I mean, Agony as well, like I said, for power scaling. But yeah, it's such a weird balance they've got to hit with this. I do respect that in case Second Dinner somehow hear this. That you don't want Human Torch to get too good because when he was 3-3, he was like really well meta defining. But at 3-2, it's amazing how 1 power difference can actually affect a card. So, yeah, in all honesty, I don't really know what the answer is. I wish I did. But right now, 3-2, it just feels like the card in itself doesn't seem great, let alone the shell that it was once a big part of. But let me know in the comments, folks. What do you think? I mean, I'm not the best of move bounce players. I will hold my hands up there. And when I was playing it, I actually did realise, you know what, Frigga had been much more simple than Mother Ascani, so that was another card you can throw in the mix as well. But yeah, it just feels like the deck itself, the card itself, everything about it has just dropped. And I can understand why it hasn't been in the meta, because it's so hard to make these numbers scale in a world where you've got Victoria hands, like in that last game, I think, just bouncing up to about 15 power. So yeah, it's a shame, because Torch is a fun card. You know, I actually do find Move a very fun archetype. And the bounce one just always had that little bit of complexity to it. So it is a shame that it's dropped down the meta a bit. But let me know what you think. You guys are the deciders in this. So, yeah, I personally miss it, but maybe there are a few of you who are glad that it dropped out the meta. Let me know. But other than that, I'm going to be back tomorrow with a free-to-play video. Not entirely... Oh, sorry, I know what we're covering on the free-to-play video. I've already recorded it. You're going to see me hit Infinite last week, so essentially before the Daredevil season kicked off. So, if you're interested in that, tune in. Other than that, I will see you on Monday. Until then, folks, have a good rest of your week. Goodbye for now.